Karen raged over library fines, then tore books and got hauled out in cuffs. The library in Willow Creek was a sanctuary, its oak shelves lined with stories that had weathered decades. It was a place where whispers carried dreams and pages turned with reverence. But on a crisp autumn afternoon, the quiet shattered. Karen Mitchell, a woman known for her sharp tongue and sharper temper, stormed through the double doors, her heels clicking like a metronome of rage. She clutched a crumpled overdue notice, her face flushed with indignation. The fine was $12.50 a pittance to most, but to Karen it was an assault on her pride. Emma Larson, the head librarian, stood behind the counter, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to Karen's fury. Emma was no stranger to Karen's outbursts. For months, Karen had hounded the library over trivial matters: misplaced holds, slow Wi-Fi, even the inferior coffee in the reading nook. But today was different. Karen's voice sliced through the air, accusing Emma of targeting her with unjust fines. "You're running a scam here," she bellowed, slamming the notice on the counter. Patrons froze, their books half open, as the tension thickened. Emma, ever composed, explained that the fines were standard, accrued from Karen's habit of returning books weeks late. She offered to waive half if Karen paid promptly. But Karen wasn't here for reason. She leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "You think you can humiliate me? I'll show you what happens when you mess with me." The words hung like a storm cloud, and before Emma could respond, Karen stormed to the nearest shelf, yanking books down with a vengeance. Pages tore as she ripped them out, tossing them like confetti. Gasps rippled through the room. A child clutched his mother's hand, wide-eyed. Among the onlookers was Mr. Thompson, a retired schoolteacher who frequented the library. He was a quiet man, always tucked in a corner with a history book, but today, his presence would shift the story. He stepped forward, his voice trembling but firm. "Karen, stop this. These books belong to all of us." His intervention was unexpected, a twist that briefly halted Karen's rampage. For a moment, her face softened, as if his words pierced her armor. But the pause was fleeting. "Mind your own business, old man," she snapped, shoving past him to tear another book. Emma, her patience frayed, pressed the silent alarm under the counter. Karen's rage escalated, her accusations growing wilder. She claimed the library was part of a conspiracy to extort townsfolk. The irony was bitter. Karen, who prided herself on exposing injustice, was destroying a community treasure. Patrons began to murmur, their shock turning to anger. A teenager filmed the chaos on her phone, her hands shaking as Karen's tirade grew unhinged. Minutes later, Officer Greg Daniels arrived, his presence commanding yet weary. He dealt with Karen before complaints about neighbors, parking disputes, petty grievances. "Karen, you need to stop," he said, his voice low but firm. She spun toward him, clutching a tattered copy of To Kill a Mockingbird. "You're all in on it," she screamed, hurling the book at his feet. The torn pages scattered, a symbol of her unraveling. Daniels sighed, pulling out his handcuffs. "You're under arrest for vandalism and disturbing the peace." The library fell silent as Daniels led Karen out, her wrists bound, her face a mix of defiance and disbelief. Patrons watched, some with pity, others with relief. Mr. Thompson picked up a torn page, his hands trembling. "This was my wife's favorite book," he whispered, revealing a personal loss that added a heartbreaking layer to the scene. His wife, gone a year now, had volunteered at the library for decades. The destruction wasn't just vandalism, it was a wound to the community's heart. In the days that followed, Willow Creek buzzed with debate. Some saw Karen as a victim of her own unraveling, a woman grappling with unseen burdens. Others saw her as a bully, finally facing consequences. The library launched a fundraiser to replace the damaged books, and Mr. Thompson's quiet courage became a rallying point. He spoke at a town meeting, his voice steady now. "Books hold our stories, our values. Destroying them destroys us." His words sparked tears and applause, a reminder of what was at stake. Karen's trial was swift. She pleaded guilty, her bravado gone, replaced by a hollow gaze. The judge sentenced her to community service, ordering her to help repair the library's books of poetic, if bitter, justice. But the real cost was deeper. Karen, once a vocal figure in town, became a pariah. Friends distanced themselves, and her social media rants went silent. The library, though scarred, stood stronger, its shelves restocked through community donations. Yet the story's end was not triumphant but heavy with sorrow. Karen's rage, born of pride and pain, had cost her more than fine sit cost her dignity, connection, and the trust of a town that once tolerated her flaws. The library, a place of refuge, bore the scars of her outburst, but it endured, as did the people who cherished it. Mr. Thompson, the unexpected voice of reason, returned to his corner, reading as if to heal the wounds Karen left behind. The tale of Karen's downfall is a mirror to our own conflicts, how anger can blind us, how communities can fracture or unite in the face of chaos. It asks us to look inward, to question where pride ends and destruction begins. What do you think? Where does justice lie in this story? And how should a community heal when one of its own breaks its heart?